Hi, I'm Caitlin and welcome to my channel, CaitMakes. Today I'm going to recreate this viral Bottega Veneta dress that you probably saw Kendall Jenner wear. I think we can all agree that this is an incredibly flattering, beautiful dress, and I think it would be perfect for fall. I love the keyhole detail, I love the high neck, and then these knotted ties on the hips that make your hips look larger and your waist look smaller. Everything about it is just very flattering, very feminine, and perfect for fall. And yeah, when I saw it, I just totally fell in love with it, and I'm definitely not alone. I've been starting to see brands make knockoff versions of this. The original version is not for sale anywhere. The only thing I could find, it looks like it was over $5,000 to begin with. I have not seen any remakes that include the ties on the side though, and I feel like that's such a huge part of what makes this dress so special. I do think that the upper part is just beautiful on its own, but I really want to recreate it to have those same ties because I think that is a huge part of the illusion that makes the waist look so small. And yeah, I think it's going to be difficult, but I'm excited to give it a try. If you haven't been on this channel before, I have only been sewing for a couple of years, and I'm really just over here trying to create my dream wardrobe from scratch because I don't have $5,000 to spend on a dress. I am by no means a professional seamstress or anything. I am still learning, but I think I can make this. Now, I think the original version was made out of a non-stretch like suiting material, maybe some kind of linen mix. That's what it looks like to me. I'm going to be making it out of a stretch jersey material instead. I took a look at this dress from as many angles as possible, as many photos as I could possibly find of it, and it doesn't have any bust darts. So the only way that there is room for your bust is by creating this keyhole detail in the center. However, everyone I've seen wear this have a smaller bust than I do, and so I'm just really nervous that just leaving a gap in a flat garment is not going to be enough. So I either was going to have to add bust darts, which was going to change the style lines a little bit, or try it in a stretch fabric. These are at least my thoughts on how I can accomplish this. So I'm going the stretch fabric route, and I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to make it way more comfortable and wearable for every day, which I'm a regular person, not going to a fashion show or anything. So if it's more comfortable, great. So let's actually make this dress now. Wish me luck. Okay, so how I'm going to make this happen and how you could make it happen as well, if it works, is I'm going to be using this pattern, just a basic boat neck dress pattern, and I'm going to be making a number of tweaks to it, but I'm using this as the base mostly for the upper part. This pattern just has two panels that you sew together, which makes it a super quick and easy make. So I've gone ahead and cut out my fabric. I kept the back panel as one piece, and then the front panel I have cut down the center in order to make that keyhole detail. And then for the skirt, I wanted it to have more fabric at the bottom. This is sort of a fit and flare skirt, I think you would call it. It really only flares right at the bottom. So I sort of just wung it, but basically from the waist, I went out into a triangle shape at the bottom instead of continuing the pattern shape of it being like form-fitting. So first, let's turn this hunk of fabric into a dress. All right, I'm starting off by just serging all of the edges, and I'm going to be serging the side seams together. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch, but in order to keep the stretch of the jersey fabric, you're going to want to use either a serger or a zigzag stitch. And then, like I mentioned, I did split the front part of the dress in half, but I forgot to mention that I also added about an inch to the center of that so that I could do a rolled hem, so that I could mimic the style lines of the original dress. So this is me doing a rolled hem on the front of each side of the dress to turn my two front pieces into one. All right, so I've sewn all the main seams together. This pattern itself would take like 2 seconds if I wasn't editing it, so definitely recommend for a quick make. I went ahead and tried it on and marked with pins where I want the opening to be. So I'm going to unpick in between here, and then I'll just reinforce the seam at the beginning and end so that it doesn't unravel. And now every sewer's best friend, a seam ripper. Okay, so this is where we're at so far. I just have these pinned, and this I think reflects the like depth pretty well of the original, but as I was worried about, when your bust is larger, it does make the center part open even more. And yeah, I just think it's a little too much. So I'm going to close it up more about an inch or so and have this be the opening. And yeah, I really love the cut and look of this whole thing. So very excited to get it finished, but yeah, I definitely will wear it more if it is more closed. So I'm going to make that adjustment quickly. Okay, so from here, right now I only have the seam down the center and then the seam down the sides. It took me a while to find a photo of the side view, but I found it. And it does have ties both on the front and on the back. So the thing I haven't done yet is cut out the fabric for the ties. I want them to be fairly thick like in the original. So I think I want them to be at least like 6 inches wide or something. And then they're going to need to be fairly long, at least the length of the skirt portion of this dress, if not a little longer. Okay, so now my plan for the ties is to deviate slightly from the original design in order to make it look more like the original design. On the original, because this is a non-stretch fabric, it creates a bit of gathering where the fabric is being pulled. So you get a bit of rouging or gathering right at that like lower ab area that typically is not the most flattering part on a woman. You know, we all have a little something there, and some gathering is nice rather than something completely flat. So the original skirt has seams, and it looks like they attached their ties in that seam. And because that isn't a stretch fabric, when you pull there, it then creates gathers. But because I used a stretch fabric, I think if I did that, this part would just remain flat, and then I would only get the ties on the side. I might get a little bit of gathering, but it just wouldn't have entirely the same effect. I think that it would be the most flattering and look really similar to the original in my stretch fabric if I do it from the center seam and then one from the side seam and then tied it here. And then this fabric is what's going to really give it that nice like gathered look here. And then I'll do the same thing on the back. So in hindsight, I should have split this down the center, but I think I am just going to cut into this and create a seam for the ties to come from. So yeah, that is my plan. But yeah, if I were to do it again, I would do the same thing I did to the front panels and add an inch or two and then just create that same folded hem all the way down the center of the back. But we're making do with what we have.
And now back to the serger to finish off these tie straps. If you've worked with jersey fabric before, you know that I don't need to be doing this. Jersey fabric doesn't fray. I could have just cut them and left them as is, but I really wanted them to look nice and professional, and I wanted to have a really clean rolled hem on the sides. So I'm just serging it and then folding it over once and sewing it down, and then folding it over again and sewing it down, and I think that this created a much more professional result, and I'm glad I took the time to do it.
Okay, I just spent what feels like 10 years hemming all the edges of these straps, and that took forever. It probably wasn't actually that long, but when you're just doing the same thing over and over again, it's a little boring and it feels like forever. Now I need to be able to insert these straps. So I have it turned inside out here, and I am going to seam rip on the center seam first, and I've just marked with a pin the beginning and end of where I need to seam rip so that these straps will fit in perfectly. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the side seams. And then we'll do the back ones last because the back ones require me cutting into the skirt, which I'm very afraid of.
And moving at the speed of light here, I am just seam ripping the center seam open and then pinning each of the straps to each side of the dress to make sure that they are perfectly lined up together. It took extra time to do that, and then I sewed those together to create the straps coming out of the center seam and make them look as perfect as possible. And now a quick word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by Sew Hayley Jane, which is a small business that offers a monthly subscription box for sewers. Every month is a new theme and comes with dressmaking fabrics and craft fabrics, as well as sewing goodies and gifts. I'm going to unbox mine for you today and show you what you would get if you were to subscribe to this. There are 3 different boxes at 3 different price points that you can choose from. This one is £70 per month, and it is the most extravagant one you can have, and then the smallest version is £25 per month, and it's called the mini box. But I'm so excited to show you what's in here. What a fun thing to receive every month.
it is full of goodies. So first we have this little magazine, and this was the August box. The next one that's available is the fall box, which I'm sure is going to be so cute. She has a little countdown on her website to show you how many days you have left to sign up for her fall box, but make sure and hurry if you like this to sign up for that one. I think this would be such a fun thing to get for the fall. But yeah, so it comes with a little sewing magazine, and I read this entire thing. I thought that it was so cute. It has so many fun sewing tips, and it features other people who get the box and make something out of what they received. And then with the luxury box, you get 2 different fabrics. In the back of the magazine, it says exactly what's in your box so that you know what you received. So this first one is 1 meter of the viscose crepe, and the other one is 3.5 meters of the rainbow gingham, which is awesome because that is enough to make an entire dress for me. And then we have this adorable iron-on patch. And then there are a couple of candies in here, which I'm not familiar with these. I'm not sure if these are British candies or if they're just vintage. Let me know if you guys have seen these before, but I'm very excited to try them. And then we have a sewing pattern for confident beginners. Love that. Looks like it's a dress or a top and has multiple sleeve options. Can't wait to give this a try. Some Gutterman thread, love that. And then the belle of the ball. This fabric is so beautiful. Also, how cute would this fabric be in this dress? I think it's just so well thought out and really, really nice quality. I absolutely love this. Could not recommend it more. If you guys are interested in supporting a small business and getting a very cute monthly sewing box delivered to your door, use the link down in the description. You can sign up right now for their fall themed box. So definitely check that out, and thank you so much to Sew Hayley Jane for supporting this channel. Such a good thing to gift to other people or for just a monthly gift for yourself. So hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at that. Now let's get back into this video. So I gave this a test, and it's not terrible, but I'm going to make some adjustments. But I wanted to show you the first failed attempt. So first of all, I did a rolled hem on these straps on both ends, and in hindsight, I really only needed to do it on this end. And this I need to just leave blank because, as you can see, this rolled hemline does not perfectly match up with this one. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to cut the rolled hem off, and then I'll do the same process again, but this time it will have blank fabric like this, if you can imagine, and that way I can just sew over these lines and carry the line perfectly down so that it's continuous. And then the other big thing is that this is sitting too low. The smallest part of my waist is right here, and I would like the knots to sit like right below that. And right now, how it is, if I was to tie it like how it should be, it's sitting quite a bit lower than that. So this needs to come up a couple of inches. And then the other problem with it being this low is that once I pull, because this is sitting at like a loose part of the skirt, it really pulls this up. Whereas the bodice part of this dress is tight enough to really like keep it in place, even with a little bit of pulling. So I'm going to remove what I just did. I'm glad I only did the front one first and didn't go ahead and do the sides yet. And I'm going to scoot this whole thing up and cut off those hems. I'll try it on again and see how it looks. If I'm happy with it, then I will continue doing the other ones to match. So a big part of winging something like this is that there is some trial and error involved. You kind of just have to try things and see what works. Sometimes you get lucky and it works out the first time, and often you have to try again. So that is why I love my seam ripper. I will just seam rip this out and then make those adjustments. So let's see how the second try goes. Yay! Okay, second attempt turned out much, much better. I'm way happier with this. I think that is going to look great. So yay, figured it out. Onto the side straps. Okay, today is the last day of making this dress. The ties have been a bit of a headache for me and something that has just taken a little bit longer than I thought it would, but now that I have it figured out, it's pretty simple. I could definitely make this dress again much faster than I made this first one, but what I have decided to do is I go ahead and attach 2 ties together. So I haven't finished off the edges of this yet, but I finish off the edges and then I will attach them right sides together and sew, and then to attach them to the side seams and to the back of the dress, I then lay the attached straps
onto the seam, and then I just sew it on top of the dress like this, and it works great, and I don't have to seam rip or anything. I inserted the front ties into the seam, and that made the most sense for the front, but the side seams are put together with a serged seam, and that really helps with the stretch of the dress. I didn't want to lose that, so I think this is the best way to attach them to keep as much stretch as possible in the side seams. And then for the back, I was really trying to find a way not to make an unnecessary seam and possibly make it lay funny. That's the last one I have to do, and I'll bring you along for that one. But I'm basically just going to be attaching it on top of the fabric like I did for the side seams instead of inserting it. And I think that that works a lot better and keeps me from creating an unnecessary seam and possibly making this a bit too small for me. There's been quite a bit of trial and error, especially with getting the side ties to sit where it made the most sense. So what ended up working best was placing the top of the strap right below the smallest part of my waist. But I'll go ahead and show you how I've been doing these straps. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I'm very excited to see the final result. I think I know how to make this like perfect next time, but it has been a very fun challenge. Challenge being the emphasis. Let's get these last straps attached, and then I just have to do a rolled hem on all these unfinished edges, and then it is done. I am moments away from having my own version of a $4,000 dress, so it's exciting stuff. It's worth all the effort. Let's get this finished. Okay, now that I have the ends finished off, I will pin these together, right sides together, and then sew them together right here. Now that it's attached, I'm going to attach the seam allowance to the outer bit. So I'll just fold this here and I'll sew one line down. And I'm just going to sew the length of the seam allowance. And I'll do that at the top and the bottom. And that is because I realized if I left this there and then tied it, it sticks out, as you can see. But if you attach it, then it moves with it, so that when you tie it, you don't have these weird little bits of seam allowance hanging out. So now we attach those. Everything is attached, and now I will just sew this to the dress fabric, and I'm just going to sew in the ditch of this seam. So I'll just sew right in the middle so that it's nice and invisible. And I've just marked with pins where the center of my fabric is and where I want it to start. Now I have it pinned on. And it is now attached. Okay, last but not least, I need to finish off the neckline and the armholes, and I'm just going to do a rolled hem for that. And there we have the completed Bottega Veneta Kendall Jenner viral gray dress remake. It is not an exact replica, mainly because of the difference in fabric, but I am super happy with the results. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see me try to make this in a non-stretch fabric as well, because now that I've done this one, I think maybe I should give it a try. I do love this jersey version. It's definitely the easiest way to get this result if you want to try it yourself, and it is crazy comfortable. I am like sweatpant level comfortable right now, and I'm in a fake designer dress, so I'm feeling great about it. So if you have any questions on how I did this, comment them down below. I'm happy to help you if you want to try to create your own. If you enjoyed watching this video, please make sure to like and comment and subscribe. It is a completely free way to support my channel, and I would love to have you around here more often. I post a new CaitMakes video every Tuesday, so come back here then to see what I'm making next week. As a reminder, the original one of this was about $4,000. This one cost me around $45, I believe, just the price of the fabric, really. So huge price difference. I especially can't wait to wear this for the fall. I think it is just the dreamiest fall dress. Very excited that this experiment was successful. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this journey with me. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you guys back here next Tuesday for a new CaitMakes video. So thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye.